Discovery ISS, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
CNN, this is Houston. Please call Discovery ISS for a voice check.
Discovery ISS, this is CNN. How do you hear me?
Discovery has you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Thank you very much. We'll be live in 15 seconds.
That's our control room, by the way.
Yes, it is. It is not mission control, but it's mission control for our show. Yeah. Meanwhile, it is the countdown to the final countdown, I guess you could say, for the crew of Space Shuttle Discovery. They're in orbit right now. They wrapped up their second and final spacewalk yesterday, and they have the honor of being on Discovery for its final voyage ever. So
this is crazy. This is big history.
This is, and it's a little bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's actually a little sad. But the Discovery crew joins us from the space station. They're orbiting 220 miles above Earth, so we will have a little bit of delay, but you guys look great. It's Commander Steve Lindsey, Eric Bowe, the pilot, Steve Bowen, mission specialist, Alvin Drew, mission specialist, Mike Barrett, mission specialist, and Nicole Stott, mission specialist. Great to see all of you this morning. Let me start with Commander Lindsey. You guys launched Thursday. You got to the space station on Saturday. As we said, this is going to be the final mission. What has it been like so far?
Well, so far the mission has been fantastic. We've accomplished most of our major objectives already. We had 2 successful spacewalks, accomplished all those objectives, plus a whole bunch of extra what we call get-aheads. We installed the last scheduled U.S. pressurized module to the space station. We installed a external stowage platform with critical spares for the space station. Been transferring and working a lot of science as well as some logistics and cargo transfers. So far the mission has gone just absolutely spectacular. We couldn't be happier with it, and looking forward to a couple of more days up here on our beautiful International Space Station.
Commander, you are going to be the pilot when you bring this thing in for its final landing ever. The pilot, you'll be the commander. Pilot Eric Bowe is going to be riding shotgun. So you two are going to bring this thing in. Eric, I want to ask you, when you bring that down and you hear those final words from Mission Control to say successful landing of the space shuttle, what are you thinking about that moment?
Well, we'd be glad to be back on Earth, and as the final landing, I think you said it before, it's going to be bittersweet. You know, the shuttle, it's amazing. The Discovery looks like it's flying its first flight, and it'll be a time that when we get to, there's a huge team that is involved in maintaining Discovery on the ground. So it's a huge pride for the 30 years plus of the shuttles flying, and Discovery doing great work on orbit.
That really is, and we're just seeing the pictures right now. It's amazing. Alvin, I want to ask you, you got to do a special experiment, a message in a bottle experiment. What was that?
A message in a bottle experiment was commissioned by JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, where they wanted to capture a bit of outer space in a glass tube to bring back to put on display throughout Japan. So my job was to go out there and open up this bottle and capture some space, actually just the vacuum of space in this, and seal it back up to bring back to the folks for Japan.
Folks, what an honor to speak to you, and I hope you're looking great up there. Continued safe mission to you all. We will all be watching very closely, all of us, the nation and the world, when you all bring it in. We'll be having a big round of applause for all of you. Good luck up there.
We'll definitely be cheering you on. Good luck to all of you, and thanks so much for taking some time to talk with us this morning.
Thank you. It's our privilege. You have a good day.
Discovery ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the CNN portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from WTTG TV.
Agreed with a lower court that tossed out a $5 million judgment in a suit by the father of a fallen soldier from Maryland.
All right, it's 8:14 right now. Let's get a look at the forecast and a little something extra from Mr. Perkins.
Tony, good morning.
We need it today. Cold start to the day. Need something to warm our hearts.
So we have it for you. It's the My First 5 photo of the day.
Discovery ISS, this is WTTG. How do you hear me?
Discovery has you loud and clear. How us?
I love that. Lyric. She is.
Sound good to me?
What's she got in her hand? I can't see.
I can't
Looks
see.
like the money, but maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Is it money? What's that?
Keys.
Keys?
Somebody said.
Oh, okay.
Lyric's driving.
She's going to drive, too.
Oh, she's driving to school. Wow.
Excellent.
That's why she's got the sunglasses on and everything. All right.
Ready to go.
Lyric, you be careful.
Matching her coat. She is cute.
Thank you for sending it in. She's adorable. If you want to send us your child's picture.
We're about a minute 15 away. You'll be speaking with Steve this morning.
Thanks. All right, here's a look at the temperatures. Good news. We've gone up a little bit. Right now in Washington, it's 29 degrees. How about that? Yes, yes. 29 currently in Quantico. Gaithersburg got a cold 23 degrees. Annapolis, 28. Winchester, 25. Salisbury is at 28 degrees. Factor in the winds. They're blowing around out there. They're out of the north-northwest. 19 degrees is what it feels like. That's the wind chill. Feels like 19 degrees right now in Washington. Feels like 19.
We're now about 45 seconds away.
21 in Culpeper. Here's your 5-day forecast. Look for a high today of only about 41 degrees, but it'll be sunny. Tomorrow, more sunshine, 51. Saturday, clouds and some rain showers, 60. Sunday, rain, 56. Monday, 52. That's about where we should be for this time of year. Look at the weather. Steve, back to you.
Stand by. Here we go.
Excited to talk with our next guest now. Astronauts aboard the Shuttle Discovery, currently at the International Space Station until Sunday. But they are taking a few moments out this morning to talk with us, and we've got everybody on board up at the International Space Station. Good morning to all of you. I know you don't get a lot of downtime, so I'm curious if you get a chance to just kind of soak things all in today on this final mission for the shuttle.
Well, yep, today playing the
We're going to try to get that connection with space worked out a little bit better. We lost you guys for just a second there, so we'll see if we can patch that up so we can talk with them a little bit better. Hey, they're 240 miles straight up. That's 240 miles straight up. That's a ways away.
Go ahead and continue, station.
Okay, I don't know how much of that you got, but essentially today we're at the point where we've completed our major robotics activities and our 2 spacewalks. So we'll be working some more transfer and getting a little time off, hopefully spend some of that looking out the nice panoramic window we have in the cupola module.
Well, I hope the view is enjoyable. I want to ask Mission Specialist Alvin Drew, who, of course, is from the D.C. area, if he has anything that he wants to pass along to the good folks of Fort Washington, Maryland, or anybody here in the Washington area.
We've had a couple of passes up the East Coast the past few days, and it looks awfully frosty down there, especially this time of year. I hope you guys are bundled up.
Well, we sure are. 27 degrees on the ground right now. Question for you guys, a little random question, but because we throw these things out to our meteorologists all the time, I wanted to throw a question to you guys. How do you tell time when you're in space? Do you sync up with Cape Canaveral time so that you're able to coordinate things like this?
To be honest with you, when I'm up here, I have very little idea of what time of the day it is. I've got this fancy watch that NASA hands to me so I can keep track of 3 different time zones. One is a time that starts off when we take off from the pad. It's called mission elapsed time, and that's our clock. And for me, it just doesn't make any sense at all, but the schedule says when it says 3 o'clock to do this, and that's what I do. We have another one that's Zulu time, which is the time in Greenwich, England, where none of us live, and that's what the space station lives on. And so we use that clock for other things. And then I have a third face on here that tells me what time it is back in Houston, Texas, so I know when people are up and down so I don't give them phone calls at 2 in the morning because they're not as happy to hear from me then, even if I'm calling from the space station.
I want to ask, anybody can answer this if the commander wants to take it or whomever would like to. But just the question to any of you, because you've done such a great service for our country and to explore what's happening out there. This being the last shuttle mission, is it a bittersweet moment?
Well, we have the honor of actually flying the last mission of the good ship Discovery. There's one and possibly two more shuttle missions after us, but of course we're seeing a program come to a close here, and to see these shuttles, these beautiful, magnificent flying machines, end their service life is obviously a little bit sad for us to see. But it is about time. They've lived a very long time. They've had a fabulous success record. They've built this magnificent station. They've given us lots of science and a tremendous amount of experience of just how to operate in space. And more than anything, we look forward to seeing them retire with dignity and bringing on the next line of spaceships.
Well, we say congratulations for treating Discovery well and letting us talk with you this morning, and for the remaining couple of missions and everything else, and all the good folks at NASA, we wish you the best, and thank you so much for your time this morning. That's the crew of Discovery on their final mission joining us from space.
Discovery ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the WTTG TV portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from WTSP TV.
Discovery ISS, this is WTSP. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Thank you very much. The crew of Space Shuttle Discovery, thank you for taking time out of your busy mission to talk with us. We really appreciate it. I'd like to start with talking to Nicole Stock, Clearwater High School graduate, who's been before on the space station as a resident there for 3 months. And Nicole, it is excellent to be talking with you again. I want to lead off with a question from Tom on Facebook. He asked, if you could bring back one experience from space and share it with everyone down here, what would that be?
Well, I think it would be a combination of two things, really. One would be that we should look at this this space station, this just really magnificent orbiting spacecraft as a true example of what we can do as an international community. This is a complex machine that's up here, and we have come together as countries from around the world and built it beautifully. And then I think I would also say that you can't walk away from here or float away from here without really appreciating what a wonderful planet we have. There is nothing like the views you get out the windows here of our just glowing, colorful planet to make us realize that we have a very special place to take care of, and it does such a perfect job of providing us with what we need to live and survive there. So I think those would be the two things.
Can you describe for us what it's like to look down at the Tampa Bay area as you float over it? And Ben on Facebook wanted to know if you ever look anything up on the satellite view of like Google Maps and think, that is not as good as the view I had.
It's not, I mean, Google Maps is really pretty cool, but there is just nothing that compares. When you look back at the Earth, regardless of where it is, and I certainly feel a true fondness for that Tampa Bay area, but anywhere on this planet you look, it's just so clear and colorful and just glowing. Like I said, you can't describe it, and unfortunately, pictures just don't really capture it. We try to do our best to share that, and HD is doing a little bit better, but it's just something you can't describe unless you see it, and it certainly makes an impact on you.
You guys are scheduled to have some time off today. What do you do with free time in space?
Well, the free time in space, a lot of us take pictures. You already talked about it. Looking at the planet is always a great pastime if you have some free time, is to go out and look. Probably on a night pass, we'll turn down the lights somewhere on the shuttle or on the space station and get a good look at the night sky, because it's like it looks like about as clear as you can get on Earth at night, and even better. And you can also look below the space shuttle, which is kind of interesting, and actually see meteorites as they enter the atmosphere. We'll also not only look at pictures, we'll get a chance to talk to our other crewmates and spend a little time with them.
It's fascinating to hear that. Also fascinating to watch you float up and down while you talk to us. I have a question for Steve Lindsey, and this is sort of a space experiment. I'm going to try to make someone blush in zero gravity if possible. You have been Nicole Stott's boss at least twice now as the chief astronaut and also on this mission. The question is, what is it about her that makes her such an exceptional crew member and astronaut and that would make us proud of her back home here in her hometown?
Well, I can't say enough good words about Nicole. She's I'm truly blessed to be working up here with her on the on this particular mission. I've known her for years. I assigned her to her space station mission that she went on, her 3-month mission, and I remember pacing back and forth in my office as she got ready to grapple the Japanese transfer vehicle for the first time, the first free flyer grapple from the space station, because I was worried about it. Not worried about her, but worried about, that everything would go right and it would perform as expected for the first time. But I needn't have worried because she did a beautiful job with that. And so everything Nicole does, she does very, very well, as does the rest of this crew here. And I just feel privileged to be able to fly with them. And I spend most of my time just trying to keep up with them.
Having met Nicole in Houston while she was training for this mission, I know she loves to laugh. Who up there is the prankster, the jokester? Who keeps everybody laughing the most?
Boom! We got several amateur comedians on the crew, so it's kind of hard to say. Although I think Eric Bowe and Steve Bowen behind me, who's trying to hide from the camera, are probably the two biggest ones.
I want to pass it back over to Nicole Stott real quick for just a couple of quick questions. Your son Roman, elementary school age, do you get to talk to him? How often do you talk to him?
Well, I talk to him at least once a day. It's been once a day since I've been here on the shuttle flight, and I try to time that with the after-school kind of dinner time, and it works out really well. And he's excited to get to the calls. I'm excited to talk to him, and I try to do my best to keep him as engaged as possible. I think that makes it best for everyone.
When I've talked to you before, you've talked about growing up here in the Tampa Bay area and what the support of the community's meant to you, what you learned in school, and all the people who've encouraged you along the way. What would you like to say to all of us who are down here looking up at you and just enamored by it and very proud of you?
Well, I think thank you are the two words that come to mind. It just has been really impressive to me and very heartwarming, actually, to see how people have continued to follow my missions, which I also hope has encouraged them to follow, just the space program in general and to see the wonderful things that are going on. I look forward to coming back to the Clearwater and Tampa Bay area and sharing some of these experiences again. I didn't have a whole bunch of time to do that after my station flight, and I hope to spend some more time there showing some videos and pictures and just sharing the experience.
One final question for you, Ms. Stott. There's been a lot of talk beforehand about this being Discovery's final flight, the last mission of what's sort of the flagship of the fleet. Now that you're there and this is real, how does the significance of this strike you?
Very much. We talk about it quite a bit amongst ourselves as a crew, and there's a word used a lot, bittersweet, and I tend to think more bitter sad. And I think what we have to do, though, is look at the positive side of this, look at the celebration we need to have about just the success of Discovery as a really, really high-performing spacecraft. Discovery has done so many things in terms of helping build this space station, independent flights that it's done with satellite deployments and working as an orbiting laboratory on its own. And it's just a part of history that I hope we hold on to and appreciate, and that we celebrate when we get home and are walking away from her on the runway for the last time.
Discovery ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the WTSP TV portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from KNBC TV.
Too often or enjoy
enjoy a stopover en route to Australia or New Zealand, all for one low airfare. Experience this exotic South Pacific paradise with Air Pacific. Plus, take 3.
Hey, Discovery ISS, this is KNBC. Can you hear us okay?
C4free.net.
We have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
This is Today in LA.
Great. In about 15 seconds, our anchors, Kathy and Alicia, are going to talk to you. Great to have you. Thank you.
Bet.
Well, the crew of Space Shuttle Discovery woke up to U2's City of Blinding Lights this morning. They'll spend a few more days at the International Space Station before heading back to Earth Sunday. That's right. It's our top story this morning. Thanks for joining us. This is Discovery's final mission into space. The shuttle will be retired when it comes home. And this morning we want to welcome the shuttle crew. They are live at the space station. Good morning. This is KNBC. Can you hear us okay?
We have you loud and clear. Good morning and welcome aboard the International Space Station.
We are thrilled to be on board, and we just want to say it is a complete honor. So right now what we want to ask you is
well, thank you. It's
right now, feeling now with these days winding down.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear part of the question. Well, I think it's a bittersweet moment for us. We're certainly enjoying our flight. It's been very, very successful so far, and it's just always a privilege to fly into space. It's certainly a privilege to be able to be flying on the last flight of Discovery. The shuttle is an amazing vehicle. Been operating for almost 30 years. It's done satellite deployments. It deployed the Hubble Space Telescope. It flew 13 flights in building the space station. It flew to the Russian space station, did science on its own, robotics and spacewalking operations, and it's probably the most versatile vehicle. Well, it is the most versatile spacecraft ever built, and probably for a long time to come. So, but it's bittersweet for us.
And for our viewers out there, you're listening right now, that's Commander Steve Lindsey. And we want to ask about yesterday's spacewalk. We know mission specialist Alvin Drew actually performed that spacewalk. And Alvin, can you tell us what that's like? I mean, to watch it is so incredible. Just please describe to us what it's like.
What I was thinking about yesterday as I came in the airlock was 43 years ago. I remember talking to my dad and watching the Apollo 11 crew walking around the moon going, how much do you have to pay to go do that? And he said, well, there's people called astronauts who get paid to do that for a living. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. How do I get that job? And as I came back in the airlock yesterday, I remember that I'm getting a full day's pay for doing this. I can't believe I'm getting away with it.
What are you thinking when you see the view? What goes through your mind?
The view is spectacular. When I first went out of the airlock on the first spacewalk, I had to keep reminding myself I had a job to do and not just take in this gorgeous scenery around me. It's not just that it's a picture from space, which is glorious in of itself, but that you're actually immersed in that picture. You're a part of the scene. You've gone through the looking glass.
All right, we want to thank all of you so much. What an incredible experience for us to be able to talk to you out there at the International Space Station. Good luck, and we'll see you back home Tuesday.
Thank you very much. You have a good day.
Discovery ISS, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, CNN, Thanks. WTTG TV, WTSP TV, and KNBC TV. Discovery ISS, this concludes the event. We are resuming normal operational communications.
Copy that. Thanks, Al.